Here now to react to all of that is Brad Blakeman, former George W. Bush senior staffer. I thought it was interesting, the criticism that came today. You know, some people said, well, you know, this is the president, only putting in people who will agree with him. And then there was other criticism shifting from this to Larry Kudlow saying, well, you know, now he's looking at someone who's against tariffs just the same way, that his former national economic advisor was against tariffs. So it's sort of like he's going to get criticized no matter what he does.
That's being the president of the United States. You can't please all the people all the time, but I can assure you that the president surrounds himself with people who have differing opinions. That's the way he conducted business. All you have to do is read The Art of the Deal, and you'll see that the president likes the give and take amongst subordinates. But here's the problem. Subordinates can disagree with the president all they want and with staff, but once the president makes a decision, everybody has to move with the president. There can't be high-level government officials that are at odds privately or publicly with the president once a decision is made. And there are a couple of golden rules in Washington. One is that you serve at the pleasure of the president. Number two is that service to the president is an opportunity, not a career. And three is don't overstay your welcome. And I think Tillerson could have easily scripted his own departure, and he didn't read the tea leaves. He wasn't seeing what was going on, and he stayed until he was forced out.
There's also a difference, I think, between having incompatible styles and disagreeing. Rex Tillerson, and I thought maybe he was trying to be stately when he was out there, but it seems like maybe he's low-energy Rex, the same way, like Jeb Bush, as opposed to, one of the first things that the president said about Mike Pompeo was that, he's energized and he's intellectual, and that he sort of, it seems like that they have the same sort of zest going. What do you think of that analysis?
Look, I think sometimes opposites attract and make a very good
and sometimes
team.
Not.
And sometimes not. And with this president, I think he wanted somebody who was a real cheerleader to go out and spirit the president's decisions and not be so obstructionist. Look, our adversaries and our friends know when somebody has juice or not.
Yeah.
I've been to 58 countries with the president and vice president of the United States. I know that so much of decisions that are taken in other capitals depend on the people they're meeting with.
Do you think it's fair to say that this is a White House in chaos, or this is a White House getting things in order to go and work on North Korea? Because you can definitely make a case for both.
Well, this is always going to be an unorthodox White House. There's no question about it. It's not a cookie-cutter West Wing. But you can't argue with success. The president has had success at home, and he's had success abroad. Why? Is because he's so direct. No leader sits down with Donald Trump and says, I wonder what he's thinking. He tells you exactly what he's thinking.
Brad Blakeman, thank you.